అది రావట్లేదు మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ చేసావా అది? అదే అట్లా ఆగిపోయింది అనుకుంటా కదా, థర్డ్ నెక్స్ట్ చాప్టర్ ఓపెన్ చేసుకోవాలి. అది చేసావా అట్లా? నిన్న అది రాలేదు కదా. ఓకే గుడ్. ఈ అందుకే నేను చెప్పి ఎన్ని కొన్నిసార్లు చెప్పించుకుంటాను ఆయన. ఏమన్నా ఇప్పుడు ఇవ్వచ్చు కదా, నేను మాట్లాడతాను కదా బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. ఏమో పరిస్థితులు కొన్ని అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి, మంచితనం కాదులే కానీ అన్నిసార్లు అడిగించకూడదు. నేను సార్ కూడా చెప్పాను, నేను చెప్పాను నీకు, సార్ చెప్పారని. ఇక ఏం చేద్దాం అని మర్చిపోయా. ఆ, మరి మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు ఈ క్విజులకి ఎగ్జామ్ మళ్ళీ క్వశ్చన్ నాకు వద్దబ్బా, తలకాయ నొప్పి వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఒకసారి ఒకసారి చేసి చాలే. కానీ నేను చెప్తుంది ఏంటంటే, ఇప్పుడు జావా 8 ఎగ్జామ్ పెడదాం అనుకున్నా మరి, జావా పెడదాం అనుకున్నప్పుడు నువ్వు ఏం చేస్తానంటే, ఈ జావా 8కి ఆల్రెడీ క్విజ్లు 3 ఉన్నాయి కదా. జావా 8 టైం ప్యాకేజ్ ఒకటి, స్ట్రీమ్ ఏపీ, ల్యాండ్, ఆ మూడు క్విజుల్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ అని తీసుకొచ్చి ఒక దాంట్లో పెట్టి అవి ర్యాండమ్గా క్విజ్ ఎంసీక్యూస్కి పిక్ వచ్చేసాయి. ఎంసీక్యూస్కి ర్యాండమ్గా ఎన్ని వస్తాయి? 25 అవి 20 అవి ర్యాండమ్గా పిక్ వచ్చాయి ఆ మూడిట్లో నుంచి. ఫిల్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాంక్స్ నీకు ఒక 40-50 ఉన్నాయి, నీకు కౌంట్ లేదు ఇక్కడ. ఈ 40లో నుంచి ర్యాండమ్గా పెట్టేస్తాయి. నెక్స్ట్ నుంచి ఎగ్జామ్ పెట్టేటప్పుడు ఎంసీక్యూస్ వరకు నేను ఇస్తా, పీసీడీ కోర్సెస్ ఇస్తా. నువ్వేం చేయాలంటే ఎంసీక్యూస్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమో అదే ఫిల్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాంక్స్ ఇస్తాను, పీసీడీ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇస్తాను కదా. వీటిల్లో ర్యాండమ్గా ఒక 20 డిస్ప్లే చేయవాడికి ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్నిటి కింద పీసీడీ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఇవి కూడా ఒక 30-40 రాసా. వీటన్నిటిలో ర్యాండమ్గా 15 వాడి, అంటే ఎవ్రీ స్టూడెంట్కి అప్పుడు డిఫరెంట్గా వచ్చేస్తాయి. ఇంకొకసారి కంప్లీట్ చేసేస్తాను. కోడింగ్ అక్కడి నుంచి బేక్ వచ్చేసాయి మొత్తం. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ కొత్తగా రాసేంత టైం లేదు కానీ ఆ ఉన్నట్లో బేకర్ తర్వాత వద్దాం. అంతే కదా, ఉండేదాన్ని చాలు, తర్వాత ఏదైనా కొత్త రెండు యాడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. కోర్ అప్డేట్లు పెట్టాను. ఇవి 38 ఉన్నాయి. ఆ ఫిల్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాంక్స్ ఏమైనా చూసుకొని ఆ ఎగ్జామ్ రెడీ చేసి చూపించి. నువ్వు రెడీ చేసి సాయంత్రం, ఇప్పుడు రెడీ అవుతుంది కదా ఎట్లా 1 అవర్లో, సాయంత్రం పెట్టేస్తాం. అంటే ఇదిగో ఇచ్చుడు ఒకసారి ఈ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఇది ఉంది, ఇది పీకేస్ అయ్యింది. బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ కొద్దిగా వచ్చినట్టు కోడ్ పాల్స్ ఈ క్విజ్ లో బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ వచ్చింది, తీసేసాను బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. ఇది బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ వద్దు వద్దు, పైన పెట్టి అయితే అంటే స్ట్రక్చర్ మనం ఇట్లా చూసాం కదా, అందుకని క్రియేట్ ద కాంపోనెంట్ ఇట్లా 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 ఇట్లా. శాంపుల్ ఇన్పుట్స్ లో జస్ట్ నువ్వు ఈ బుక్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, ఈ లొకేషన్ జస్ట్ వేరియబుల్ పెట్టేసే శాంపుల్ గా, అప్పుడు నీకు ఈ టాస్క్ కనిపించలేదు కదా. మెయిన్ గా శాంపుల్ ఇన్పుట్ లో పెర్ఫార్మ్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ టాస్క్స్ అని వచ్చింది కదా. అదేంటి మొత్తం అట్లా చేశాడు ఇవన్నీ నిన్న లేవు కదా ఇట్లా. నేను ఎట్లా ఉన్నాయా? బయట ఉన్నాయి. నిన్న బయటే ఉన్నట్టు. సర్లే ఇట్లా ఉంచు, నెక్స్ట్ ఇచ్చే మార్చేసేది. ఎందుకంటే నేను ఇక్కడ ఎక్సెప్షన్ హ్యాండ్లింగ్ ఒకటి చూసా, ఎంత చేద్దాం అంటే ఇక్కడ ప్లెయిన్ వచ్చింది కదా, అది బాగుంది చూడడానికి. అదేలే లోపల ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి అట్లా వచ్చింది అంటాం. ఇది ఇక్కడ ఉంది కాబట్టి అట్లా వచ్చింది. కుదిరితే మార్చు, కుదరకపోతే నెక్స్ట్ ఇచ్చి నేను మారుతుంది అయితే. సరే. ఒకసారి మీకు stop writing is a 1 point eraser. Because I'm going to create two components, parent component and child component. I click under new. This is called parent.js export. Like that, you can create another component like child.js export. New file is called child.jsx. This is called parent.jsx. We have functional component export. This is called what? Child. React functional component export. This is called what? Parent. So how many components are created here? Two components. One is the parent, one is the child. So for the parent component, in the parent component, let me include the child component. So in the parent component, you take one count variable like use state variable. Parent component use state variable is there too, and count is there like that. Fine. After the count variable, and you have the name also some name, and we give the default name is what here Ratan. The default name is Ratan. We give it, and we go for the count data. Good. Inside the return JSX code, we can have the code like this. Fine. See guys, I'm just printing the count value, and we are creating the two buttons. One button is for what? Increment. When you click on the increment button, then what happened here? When you click on the increment button, count is increased at the count. When you click on the change name button, what happened here? The name will be changed. Two buttons I created. Then a child component is imported here. Go for the child component imported. Child component, we are giving the name equal to me. Name equal name is what we are giving props, right? We are giving what? To the child component, what we are giving here? Props. We are giving the props like, go for the child component. And here let me have the name. Name as a props. Here you are printing the data. Class. Okay. Until now. You are listening, not watching. Watching also. My God. Very class. Hey, this is called name here as the child component. In the child component, just I'm printing the console.log to check the just a confirmation purpose. I'm have some console.log. Child component is rendering. Just I'm writing the message like that. And in the child component in the return statement, you just print the this is the what you can say. And we have the just the props is coming now. What the props is coming here? Name. See guys, this is called only two components you created, parent and child. Count is there. When you click on the increment button, count should be updated, count value printed. Change name button is there. When you click on the change name, initial name is what is going to the child component. Initial name you take in the Ratan. To the child component, what name is going? Ratan is going. It means to the child component, initially Ratan is going. Initially, what name is going? Ratan. Ratan is going. When we click on the change name, then props changes. Props what it changes? Ratan to the Anu. The props is changed from the initially Ratan object is there. Now it is changed to what? Anu. Then the child component, what props is going? Anu is going, right? Props is going ma, Anu is going. That's it, guys. Go for the app.jsx. In app.jsx, please go for the parent component. I can run that. See, guys, let me go for the parent component. That's it. Just you can run this code here. Run this code like npm npm run dev. npm run dev is there. Just click on go and click on enter. We can check the output this here. We got the data like right click and inspect. I think some components are not imported. Let me check once. See guys, use state is not defined. Not defined means imported, not imported. Not imported. Go for the parent.jsx here. In the parent.jsx use data. Just you can remove one character, click on enter button. That's it. Now you can check the output guys. We got the data like this. Now you see the date right now, right click and console. You check the console, buddies. You check the console, clear the console and click on what? Refresh. Then see guys, child component rendered first time. Because first time the data goes to what? Child component. Data goes to what? What name goes to the props? Ratanis goes to the props, right? Props, then child component is re-rendered. Observe carefully. Now I am clicking on increment button. This increment button is belongs to what component? The child component or parent component? Parent component. When I click on the parent component, then what happens? Parent component is re-rendered. Parent component is what? Put parent component re-render. When I click on the parent component re-rendered. First time re-render, second time re-render, third time re-render, fourth time re-render. Because we are increasing the count. Increasing what? When we increase the count, then what happened? Tell me here. Increase the count means child component should, parent component is what? Re-render. 100 times I increased. How many times the parent component is re-rendered? 100 times. Because every render value is updating, right? Value updating means what? Component is re-rendered. How many times the component is re-rendered means 100 times. How many times? 100 times. Now you observe carefully, guys. When we click on the increment button you click, increment button you click, increment button you click, increment button you click, increment. Then what you are observing here? When we click on the increment button, only parent component is re-rendering, child also re-rendering. Child, very powerful in real time, guys. Because we have the import statement parent and child components. Parent component is re-render means all child components are automatically re-rendered. That's what happened here. If I'm clicking on increment button, where I'm clicking in increment button? Parent component. Only parent is re-rendering, child also re-rendering. Child also re-rendering. That is necessary re-rendering, unnecessary re-rendering. Unnecessary, right? Because child should not be re-rendered. Because we are updating the UI what? Based on the parent, right? We are updating the UI based on what? Parent. Based on the parent, you are updating the UI means, then what should be updated here? What should be updated? Yeah. What should be updated here? Parent should be updated, right? It means only what component should be re-rendered? Parent. Child should be re-rendered and not re-rendered. But here the problem is what? In general, when the parent component is re-rendered, all childs will be re-rendered automatically. That's automatic re-render. But when the child should be re-rendered, when the props is changed, when the input is changed, right? When the input is changed. See guys, what the point written here? By default in React, when the parent component is re-rendered, the child automatically re-rendered. To prevent unnecessary re-renders, guys, use the React.memo in child component. React.memo in what? Child component. When we use the React.memo in the child component, go for the child component. In the child component, here while go for the export statement, you can go for what? React. What object is here? Memo. When you write the React.memo in the child component, then child component will memorize the old state. Memorize what? Old state. Then the child component should be re-rendered only when the props changes. Only what props changes. React.memo means what? It is memorizing. It is memorizing my child component. I'm checking the old state. Checking what? Old state. Old name is there. Don't re-render multiple times. When should be re-rendered? Only when what props changes. That's it. Yes, you got it up. That's it, guys. Simply can refresh. Again, refresh once. Now we can check it, guys. First time re-render. Now observe carefully. Now I'm incrementing. Incrementing means what component we are changing? Parent component updating. Parent component is re-rendering. When the parent component is re-rendering, child should be re-rendered or should not be re-rendered? Should not be re-rendered, right? Because we already used what approach? React.memo. Simply just click on the increment. See? Now can I get any data in the child component re-rendering or not re-rendering? Then the child should be re-rendered. When the props changes. Initially props what we are passing? Grata. When the props changes, when we click on this change name, right? We click on what? Change name. Go for the parent.jsx. So if I click on the change name, then what happened here? When we click on the change name, then what happened? Then we are setting the name. Name is changed to what? Anu. Then props changed. Props changed to what? Anu. When the props changed to Anu, then what happened? Child will be re-rendered. Child will be what? Re-rendered. See, this is called first time re-rendered for Ratan. If the parent component re-rendered, child is re-rendering or not re-rendering? Not re-rendering. We achieved that. When the child should be re-rendered? When the proxy changes. Now you click on this change name. Now see, the child is re-rendered now. Child is what? Re. That's it. When the child should be re-rendered, guys. When the proxy is what? Changed. When the proxy is changed. That's a very important. By default, when the parent is what? By default in React, when the parent component is re-rendered, the child is automatically re-run. To prevent the unnecessary re-renders, unnecessary, tell me guys, child re-renders, use React.memo in what component? Child component. So this is the code for that. React.memo memorize the component, memorize what? Component, memorize the component, and a child is what? Re-render only when it's a props changes. It changes what is props changes. Props not changes, that should be re-rendered or should not be re-rendered. That should not be re-rendered, right? Exactly. So that is what the concept is. That is a React memo hook. But the React memo hook is saying that the child should not be re-rendered. The child should not be re-rendered when the parent is what? Re-rendered. How to achieve this means we have to go for what? React memo. React what? Memo. When the child should be re-rendered? When the proxy will be. Okay, this is called what? Stopping the unnecessary re-renders. How to stop the child re-rendering? How to stop what? Parent child re-rendering. Let me write. At a point. Last one. In a child component, just try to console.log, check the console.log. Console.log check చేసుకుందాం. You will get the clarity. Right, stop writing. See, React.memo is the like these are we'll call it as higher order functions in React. HOC you are called higher order components. Higher order component is a function. React.memo is a higher order component and why means what, like higher order component means it is a function that can take what? Wait, that can take what? The function can take the component as input. Memo is taking what is the input component, right? The function higher order component is a function that takes the React component. See, the function take the component as input, that is called higher order functions. What functions? What is higher order functions? The function, it will take the component. What the advantage of this is stopping the re-rendering, right? So it's stopping what? Yeah. Very important because junior developers they write the code normal. When you write the code, like when you import the statements, when the parent is changing, all the childs are changing automatically. When the parent is what? Re-rendered, then what happens? All childs and malli re-render outai. We should stop that. To stop that, we are using higher order functions. What the higher order function? React.memo. What the React.memo is higher order function that can take the component as input. That can take what? Component as an input and stopping what? Unnecessary re-rendering stop. When the props not changes. When the prop changes, re-render. Props not changes, not re-render, right? Not changes what? Not re-render. How to stop the re-render means React.memo guys. It is like HOC, higher order component. It can take the component as input and stopping the re-renderings. Adi oka part. Keep aside. Now you see the next part. Because next part, you can go for the parent. The parent component, I am writing small logic. What I am writing here? Greeting logic. The greeting logic I am writing here. Greeting logic I am writing here. Observe carefully what I am doing here. Props means what? Passing the data from one component to one. Previously, props what we are giving? We are giving the value. We are giving the object. We are giving the array of objects like using map function, giving one by one value like that. It means what? You are giving the strings, numbers, objects, array of objects like that you are giving. Even using props, using what? Props. The parent component can send the logics to child component. Child components, you don't write the logic. You don't write the logic. Parent component can send the logics to the child. Logics in the sense what? Function, arrow function. That arrow function logic also can send it to what? A child as a props. Previously props means what we are sending? Data, normal objects, normal arrays, something like that. But today we are sending what? Logics in here. Using props, you can send the logics to what? Other component. Logics to what? Other component. Other component logics to compare. That's what guys. Here I am writing the child component, greeting logic, then greeting logic. So to the child component, what we are sending now? Greeting logic. Then this is called key, right? This key should be given to the child component. In the child component, you can see guys, child component. Here what we should write now? Greet logic. Now what the parent is sending to child? Logic. What logic? Greet logic. What logic? Greet logic, right? Exactly. The guy is sending the Greek logic. What logic? Greek logic. Good. See, parent has some logic, arrow function logic, and he is sending that arrow function logic to what component? Child component. Then this is a child component, you got the logic. You got the logic. In the child component, that logic should be executed when you click on the child click. What click button is? Child click. You can click chasno. You clicked. Where we clicked in the child. When we click on the child click, then child logic is executing what the logic given by parent executing. What is the logic given by parent? Greet logic. When you click on this button, on click event is triggered. This logic execute. This logic you written given by parent. Given by parent. Real time. Today class is like very powerful. Use effect, use state. These are very good to start the Monday React, project. This is the child click. When you click on the child click, what event? On click event. On click event is triggered and what you can say? Greeting logic, right? What logic, ma? That greeting logic is given by parent, right? Exactly. Guys, here I am writing the console.log to understand output. Good morning, Ratan sir, something like that. Now you can check the output guys here. Good morning, Ratan sir. Click on the refresh and click on the paste it. And here console.log child component is there. This is a child. App.jsx here writing what parent. App.jsx, this is a parent. This is called parent. So greet logic we are giving to what child. This is like what child. When we click on the child, what event is triggered? On click. What logic executed? Greet logic. That greet logic is given by what? Parent, right? Click that. Child logic, greet logic executing. Okay, let me restart the server once. Else npm run dev. Click on this one, click on OK. Then I click on what the inspect. Click on the refresh. Very dangerous. Where? Child or parent? Child. Then you can put this data here. Like this, you can put the data. That's it. Now see the output is yes, you are right. Good. Okay, that's it. You got the button like child click. When we click on the child click means what? This is the button belongs to parent component or child component. When I click on that, click on that, what executing? That logic is given by parent. Am I writing the child is writing the logic or child is logic is given by parent? Where this is the child button. When I click on this button, the logic is executed given by parent. You click on this one, logic execute. Good morning, Ratan sir. Good morning, Ratan sir. 1, 2, 3, number is increasing, right? Number is what? Number is what, ma? Increasing. Number is what? Increasing or not increasing? Yeah, that's it, guys. Number is what? Increasing. But number is increasing, guys. Number is what? Increasing. That is okay, fine. Hey, this is example, you understand that? What this example is doing? Just sending the parent component, sending the logic to the child component. Then child button clicked, that logic executed. Yes, sir? Good. Let me enhance this example. Let me enhance this example. Yeah, this is like parent. This is something like child. Hey, why we use React.memo of child here? To stop the child unnecessary renderings, right? That should be this child should be executed only when the props changes. What changes? Props not changed, then what happened here? Component is not re-rendered. Component is what? Not nice. That is the parent or child. Fine. Let's go for the parent component. Observe carefully. In the parent component, I take one state variable. I taken the state variable like use state like count variable. Then count variable is there. Just you can write the count variable here. And employee start work. What the variable you taken here? Count variable. What variable? What is count variable? Yeah, you take the count variable. You check this one here. Count variable simply. Your state book is there. One more state variable. How many state variables you taken? 2. One is the count. One is the employee started work. See guys here, and here I'm writing the logic for that. What the logic like when I click on the task count, total tasks, total task, total what task. Hey, also you can go for the variable like count variable. First you can write the h1 tag, then you can write what counter colon braces what count, and you click on the button. What the button tell me guys here? Button is just you can have the button. Button is like this is what click on parent click. Parent click, then what happened? Tell me. The parent click is what event is triggered. What event is triggered? On click event is triggered. On click event is triggered, then you write something like arrow function. Set count. Set count is what? Count plus 1. Like that, we have the data. Like that, what? You have the data. Okay, that's it. Just I'm printing the data. That's it. Just you can come to the file. See, guys, I'm going for the parent counter. Click on the refresh file. See, if I click on the child, then what happens here? Child logic executing, that is fine. Parent count you can increase. What count? Parent count. Parent count you can increase. And here you can write the child class, you write what is this? Console dot log. For the confirmation, this is what? Child re-render. Re-rendering, something like that. Observe carefully. Now you click on the refresh. First time click on the refresh. First time props change. Props are passing to the child. What props is passing? Data na function. Function is passed to what? Child. Function is passed to the child. Child is re-rendered first time. Observe carefully. First time. First time. Second time I click on the parent click. Counter increasing. What increasing? But is counter increasing. You increase the counter in the parent component. The counter increase also. When the counter is increasing, what is re-rendering? Child re-rendering, parent re-rendering, parent re-rendering. When the parent is re-rendering, counter increasing means what is re-rendering? Counter increasing means parent is re-rendering. Go for the child.jsx. Child.jsx, what we read? React.memo. React.memo means what? When the parent is re-rendered, child should be re-rendered, should not be re-rendered. Because we use what method? React.memo. When the component is re-rendered using parent is re-rendered using what? Counter. Parent is re-rendered using what? Count. Child should be re-rendered, should not be re-rendered. Because you already use React.memo. That's our code. Reload. When should be child should be re-rendered? When the prop changes. Here props is what? Function. When the function changes. When what? Function. Then you tell me one question here. Child generated a message, this is re-rendering. Now if I click on the print click, parent click, counter increment. What increment? Counter increment. If I click on the increment button, the child should be re-rendered, should not be re-rendered. But child re-render right the child is re-rendered or not re-rendered? That's the question. See, first time you can click on the refresh, one time, first time execute because first time you are passing the props. Second time is what? Click on increment button. Click on what button? Increment button button. Child is re-rendered or not? Child is re-rendered or not re-rendered? Not re-rendered, right? Why? We use React.memo and props not changed. That's what the child should not be re-rendered. The child should not be what? The child should not be re-rendered. Re-render out the child, right? Exactly. Let's come to the increment button. The child should not be re-rendered, right? Exactly. You click on the increment button, guys. Child re-render, right? Why? React.memo we use in the child. React.memo what? When you use React.memo means what? Child should not be re-rendered. When the child is re-rendered, prop changes. Now this example what? This example is what? Child is re-rendering. It means what? Maybe props changing, right? Maybe what? Props is changing. Maybe prop change out. Maybe what? Props is. Right. As per this example, parent is re-rendering for child should not be re-rendered because child already we use what? React that memo what is on already, and the react that memo we use means what, that should be re-rendered, should not be re-rendered. For any re-rendering, that is re-rendering is what, props changing. Props change అయింది కాబట్టి అది రీరెండర్ అవుతుంది. బట్ ఇక్కడ ప్రాప్స్ చేంజ్ అవుతుందా, సేమ్ ఫంక్షన్ యూఆర్ పాసింగ్, అదే ఫంక్షన్ కదా, ఫంక్షన్ చేంజ్ రా, ఫంక్షన్ చేంజ్ నాట్ చేంజ్ రా. Exactly. But then what? Here, what is the problem? Like, when the increment counter is there, this parent component is re-rendered definitely. When the parent component re-rendered means all the functions are recreated out there. What component is re-rendered? Tell me. Parent component re-rendered. When the parent component is re-rendered, what happens? Then the parent component re-rendered all the when the parent component is what, re-render అయినప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే, ఈ parent component re-render అయినప్పుడు inside the component, parent component, all the functions are recreated. All the functions are what? Recreated. When the parent component re-render, all the functions in arrow functions, all the functions in what component? Parent component will be recreated. What will be recreated? I must recreate output. When it is recreated, we are passing that function to whom? Child, right? We are passing the function to what? Child. When it is recreating, when it is what? Recreating. When it is what, mom? Recreate. When the parent component is re-rendered, all the functions in parent component will be recreated. These functions, tell me, these functions, we are the recreated function. Tell me guys, the recreated. The recreated functions are passing to what? Passing to the recreated function, passing to child as props. That will be what? Treated as new functions. I mean, functions are not available. Parent component recreated, all functions are recreated. You are passing what? The recreated function you are passing as a props. Then it is taking what? New function. And new function of this component. That is taken as what? New functions. Regard it. When the parent component loaded, what happened? When the parent component re-rendered, all the functions in parent component will be recreated. The recreated functions are passing to props. Then that will be treated as what functions? New functions. I mean, what function are treat case component? It will treat. That's what the component is what. So this is the reason. Even we used React.memo of child. Even we use React.memo of child, but it is treated as what? New function. So this is the reason. Even we use what? React.memo. The child is what? The child is re-render. That's the problem. What is the solution we have? This is the problem. I hope you understood the problem, all of you. What the problem here? When the parent component re-render right now, all functions is the parent component. Our component only functions and recreate. That function you are passing to what? The child. Then child is thinking that recreated function as a new function. Recreate a function new function laga anukuntundi. Then what we should do? What the solution for that? What we should stop? Vamshi will tell you. Stand up, Vamshi. Stand up. So, what solution is it? Problem in solution. Problem in రీక్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. అన్ని రీక్రియేట్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ రీక్రియేటెడ్ ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆర్ పాసింగ్ టు ద చేంజ్. దట్ రీక్రియేటెడ్ ఫంక్షన్ ఈస్ థింకింగ్ యాజ్ ఎ న్యూ ఫంక్షన్. But that is old logic only. Logic is changed or not changed? Logic is not changed. Then how to stop it? Solution and చెప్పు. మనం ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తే ఆగిద్ది అట్లా? మనం ఏం చేయాలి? మైదా పిండి అక్కడ ఏమొచ్చింది? ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చింది. అట్లా స్టాప్ చేయాలి. వాడు ఏమనుకుంటున్నాడు? ఆ ఫంక్షన్ రీక్రియేట్ అవుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి కొత్త ఫంక్షన్స్ అనుకుంటున్నాడు. నువ్వేం చేస్తావు? ఏం చేస్తావు? స్టాప్ స్నాప్ అని స్టాప్ అవుతాయి. స్టాప్ అంటే స్టాప్ కావు. ఏం చేయాలి? Component re-rendered, when the component is re-rendered, that functions are taken as what? Recreated. When the function is recreated, it is thinking as new function. What is solution? Nothing, sir. Solution is what, sir? Just you stop the recreating, sir. When you stop recreating, old function. Problem solution. Functions are recreating, then he is thinking that new. If you stop recreating, old. Then what is the point here? When the component is loaded, you stop the functions will be what? Recreations. Function recreation obvious number. Functions are not recreated means what happened here? Old function. That function, that is solution. What is your solution? Just to stop what? Just to stop the function recreation. Recreate అవుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి new functions are create చేస్తుంది. Just to stop the function recreation when parent component loaded. When the parent component is loaded. The parent component is rendering. The parent component is what? Render. When the parent component is rendering, you stop the function recreation. Stop the function recreation. Stop changing. Very important because we have some piece of I'll tell you the project you'll find. Hey, what you should do? Just to stop the function recreation, stop change. Sir, how to stop the recreation, sir? Using what? Call back and then. Hey, that's it, guys. Just we need to stop what? Recreation. When the parent component is what? Re-render. Stop the recreation when the parent component is what? Re-render. Hey, that's what you can go for the hook, like use callback. Hook is callback. You take that logic using callback function. That's it. You write this this is a function logic, right? The logic, function logic. If function logic and this is a logic we are taking, right? This logic you please give to the callback. Give the dependency here. Why dependency here? When the dependency here changes, logic changes. Use effect we discussed, right? Dependency here. Every dependency here means what? Only once. Only once. Only once, right? But that's it. This is a use callback. It means your logic is given to what hook use callback function. Use what? Callback. Use callback picture. Then he will check that dependency array changed. Dependency here we taken what empty. Dependency array changed, not changed, not changed. Not changed means what? This function is not recreated. The function is what? Not recreated. I recreate our function is not recreated means what? We are passing the old function. We are passing the old function means what? Child is re-rendered or not re-rendered? Huh? Not. Child is what? Not re-rendered. Without use callback, then what happened? Tell me. When the parent is re-rendering, when the parent is re-rendering, all the component, all the functions are what? Recreated. If you use the callback means what? This function recreated or not recreated? It will check the dependency array. Depends on the dependency array, it will load the data. Dependency array given what? Empty. Empty means what? See, if you give the count here, then what happened? Tell me. This should be recreated, then the count changes. When what? Count changes. If you give the empty array, recreated, not recreated. Recreate out. Not recreated means passing what function? Old function. Old function means what? Top changing, not changing, not changing. Then child is re-rendered, not re-rendered. That's it. That's it. Yes. Click on the refresh. First time child re-rendered. You click on the increment. Previously, when I click on the increment, parent re-rendering, all the functions are recreating. All functions are what? Recreated. Recreate means what? New function going to the child. Child is re-rendered. You click on this one. Now what happened, guys? Function recreating and not recreated. Use what function? Use function. Use callback. Yes, use callback. You click on increment, guys. Now see. New function is going up, old function is going up. Very powerful student class. Incremented, right? Function recreating, not recreating. Not recreated. Not recreated means old function is going. But if you remove this use callback hook with a dependency array, this is a normal function like this. Then what happens? When the parent is re-rendering, when the parent is what? Re-rendering, components, functions are recreating. Functions are what? Recreating. Then what? New functions are going to child. Then child is re-rendered. Now see, child is re-rendered, child is re-rendered, child is re-rendered, new child is re-rendered. Very powerful. Very important. Wait, that is information. Use callback is clear. You put the use callback. And the logic in this case, this greeting logic is there. Na? That logic you given to callback function. Then this function should be recreated. Recreate when the dependency changes. But here dependency is empty. Dependency changing or not changing? Not changing means this array recreated or not recreated. That is use callback. Use with use callback is good or without use callback? Refresh. Increment. New function is going up, old function is going up. Huh? That's it. We got it done. That's it, guys. That's all. Today is all about the stopping what? Re-rendering. Stopping the re-rendering. Stopping the re-rendering. Take an example. Passing the functions as in passing the function logic as what? Props. In general, to the child component. Inbuilt child component are passing number string objects against inputs. Child.